Frank, sign this contract form and we'll split everything 70-30. 70 for me and 30 for you.
Uncle, I'm sorry, I'll not sign that contract.
You don't mean that.
Uncle, with all due respect, you didn't train me. You brought me here to be a slave, a houseboy. That's not true. I gave you opportunities. No, you gave me chains. Then know you're on your own and I can make you disappear with one phone call.
Hello, lovers of good story. I am back again. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you think that all is lost, that there is nothing like light at the end of the tunnel? Relax, let me tell you a story. A story that will make you understand that sometimes the pit we find ourselves is actually the foundation of your palace. Frank Okafor was just 17 years old when his father called him that hot afternoon in their small compound in Abia State. "Frank, my son, come here." The way his father's voice sounded, Frank knew something serious was about to happen. His mother was there too, sitting on the wooden bench, her wrapper tied tight around her chest, her face carrying that look mothers have when they're about to make a sacrifice. "You see your life," his father started. "We have tried, we have struggled. Your JAMB score is good, but where is the money to send you to university? Where?" Frank looked down. He knew his parents had suffered. His father was a commercial motorcycle rider, Okada man. His mother sold oranges by the roadside. They had 6 children and he was the first. "But your uncle," his mother said, her voice brightening a little. "Your uncle Emmanuel in Lagos, you know he's a big man now. He has agreed to take you. He said he will train you in university. He will make you somebody." Frank's heart jumped. Uncle Emmanuel, the man who came to the village every Christmas in his big jeep, throwing money around, wearing gold chains, speaking English that nobody could understand. That uncle? "When am I going, Papa?" Frank asked, trying to hide his excitement. "Next tomorrow," his father replied. "We have already bought your ticket. This is your opportunity, my son. Don't mess it up." 2 days later, Frank found himself in a luxurious compound in Lekki, Lagos. The house looked like something from a Nollywood movie. Swimming pool, big cars, everything shining like mirror. His uncle welcomed him with a big smile. "Frank, my boy, you're welcome. You will enjoy here. This place is paradise." But it was his uncle's wife, Auntie Ngozi, that Frank noticed most. She smiled at him, but the smile didn't reach her eyes. It was the kind of smile a cat gives to a mouse before pouncing. "Welcome, Frank," she said sweetly. "I hope you know how to work hard, because in this house, we don't tolerate laziness." The first night, Frank slept in the boys' quarters, a small room behind the main house. He was so happy. He dreamed of wearing suit and tie, graduating from university, making his parents proud. But my people, if Frank knew what was waiting for him, he would have run back to Abia that night. The first wake-up call came at 4 a.m. "Frank! Frank! Are you still sleeping? Do you think this is your village where people sleep until cock crow?" It was Auntie Ngozi's voice, sharp like broken bottle, cutting through his lip like a knife through butter. Frank jumped from the mattress, his heart pounding. What was happening? Was the house on fire? He rushed out in his boxer short to find Auntie Ngozi standing there, arms folded, her face squeezed like someone who swallowed bitter leaf without soup. "Madam, good morning, ma." Frank stammered. "Is something wrong?" "Something wrong?" She laughed, but it was not a happy laugh. "You are asking if something is wrong. Frank, let me tell you how things work in this house. You wake up by 4 a.m. You prepare the children for school. You cook breakfast. You wash all the toilets. You clean the compound. You wash the cars. But ma," Frank interrupted, confused. "Uncle said I will be going to school." The slap came so fast, Frank didn't expect it coming. His cheek burned like fire. "Did I finish talking? Did I finish talking?" Auntie Ngozi's eyes were red now. Let me tell you something, village boy. Your uncle is a kind man, too kind. That's why he brought you here. But I am the one who runs this house, okay? And in my house, nobody eats free food. You will work for your keep. After 1 year, if you prove yourself useful, then we can talk about school. Now get moving. I am giving you 30 minutes to prepare my children for school. And that was how Frank's dream died that morning. But the death was slow, painful, like watching a candle melt in the hot sun. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. Every day started at 4 a.m. and ended at 2:30 a.m., sometimes 3 a.m. His duties? Everything. Cook breakfast for the family at 6, iron Auntie Ngozi's clothes, and she was the kind of woman who changed clothes 3 times a day, wash Uncle Emmanuel's 3 cars until they shined like diamond, clean the swimming pool, wash all the toilets, prepare lunch, take the children to lessons, prepare dinner, wash all the dishes, sweep the entire compound, water the garden. And Uncle Emmanuel? He was never around. He traveled for business, and when he was home, Auntie Ngozi had trained him well. He didn't ask questions. One day, after 5 months of this torture, Frank's father called him. "Frank, my son, how is school? Your uncle said you have started university. We are so proud of you." Frank's heart broke into pieces. Uncle Emmanuel was lying to his parents. But what could he say? If he told them the truth, they would be heartbroken. They had been telling everybody in the village that their son was studying in Lagos. "Yes, Papa," Frank heard himself lie. "School is fine." That night, Frank cried for the first time since he arrived. He cried until his pillow was soaked with tears. But my people, it is often said that when you reach the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on. Frank was about to tie that knot, but not in the way you think. It happened on a Tuesday night, or was it Wednesday morning? At that point, Frank couldn't tell anymore. The days had blended into one long nightmare. It was 2:47 a.m. Frank had just finished washing the pile of dishes from Auntie Ngozi's dinner party. His hands were wrinkled like old paper. His eyes were heavy like lead. His body was begging for sleep, but he couldn't sleep. He had learned the hard way that sleeping meant waking up tired, which meant walking slowly, which meant more insults, more slaps, more threats. So he did what he had been doing for the past 2 months. He went to YouTube. The house had central Wi-Fi, one of the few blessings in his cursed situation. At least Auntie Ngozi couldn't control that. Frank started watching comedy skits, Macangel comedy, Brother Shaggy, Mr. Macaroni. The jokes made him forget his pain for a few minutes. As he watched, something clicked in his brain. "Kai, this one now, even me, I can do better than this," he muttered to himself. He watched another video, then another. Then he found himself on the how-to side of YouTube. How to make comedy skits, how to edit videos on your phone, how to go viral on social media. Frank watched until 4 a.m. Then he had to start the day's work. But something had changed. There was a small light in his eyes that wasn't there before. That evening, as he was cooking rice in the kitchen, sweating over the hot stove, he propped his small technophone on the windowsill and pressed record. "My people, let me tell you what happened to me today," he started, stirring the rice with one hand while gesturing with the other. "This woman, she called me 23 times. 23 times! All to come and change the TV channel. You know what she was watching? Africa Magic. You know what she wanted to watch? Telemundo. The remote was in her hand." He stopped recording and played it back. It was rough, very rough. But there was something there, something real. For the next 6 months, every spare moment Frank had, he was recording. While cooking, he recorded. While washing clothes, he recorded. While cleaning, he recorded. He would tell stories about Auntie Somebody and Uncle Somebody. Everyone knew he was talking about his life, but he never used real names. His jokes were not the loud, exaggerated type. They were quiet, subtle, painfully real, and people started watching. 10 views became 100, 100 became 1,000, 1,000 became 10,000. But Frank kept it secret. He didn't tell anyone in the house. He would record when they were out, or late at night, or early in the morning. 1 year passed. Frank had over 500,000 followers on Instagram, 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. He was making money, not much, but enough to send small amounts to his parents secretly. But he was still waking up at 4 a.m., still washing toilets, still being called a fool, an idiot, a useless village boy. Until the day everything changed. It was a Saturday afternoon. Uncle Emmanuel was home for once. Auntie Ngozi had invited some of her friends for lunch. The big madams of Lekki, dripping with gold and designer bags. Frank was in the kitchen preparing small chops when he heard Auntie Ngozi's voice boom from the living room. Frank, where are you? He ran out, his heart pounding. What had he done wrong this time? But when he got to the living room, something was different. Auntie Ngozi's friends were all staring at their phones. Then at him, then at their phones again. Frank, one of the women said slowly, "Is this you?" She turned her phone around. It was his latest video, the one about a houseboy who accidentally used his madam's expensive cream to polish shoes. The video had gone viral, 5 million views in 2 days. Frank felt his blood freeze. This was it. They had found out. He was finished. I can explain. He started. Explain what? Another woman jumped in. Young man, do you know you are trending? My daughter showed me your page this morning. She says you're the funniest thing on the internet right now. Uncle Emmanuel took the phone and watched the video. Then he watched another, then another. His face was unreadable. Auntie Ngozi was silent. For the first time since Frank arrived, she had no words. How long have you been doing this? Uncle Emmanuel finally asked. 1 year, sir. Frank replied quietly. And you didn't tell us? I didn't think you would allow it, sir. Uncle Emmanuel stood up, and Frank thought he was about to be hit. But instead, his uncle started laughing. Loud, genuine laughter. Ngozi, do you know what we have been sitting on? Do you see it? This boy is a gold mine. A gold mine! Suddenly, Uncle Emmanuel's eyes had changed. They had that business look, that calculation, that greed. Frank, my boy, he said, putting his hand around Frank's shoulder for the first time in 18 months. We need to talk. Serious business talk. That evening, Uncle Emmanuel called Frank into his study. This was a room Frank had only entered to clean. It smelled of leather and old money. Sit down, Frank. Sit down. Frank sat on the edge of the chair, uncomfortable. You see, Uncle Emmanuel began, lighting a cigarette. I have been watching your videos. Very good. Very, very good. You have talent, but talent without management is like a car without driver. It can't go anywhere. Yes, sir, Frank replied, not sure where this was going. So here is what I am thinking. I will become your manager. I have connections, Frank, serious connections. I have people in the entertainment industry. I can make you bigger than you can ever imagine, but we need to formalize things. He pushed a document across the table. This is a management contract. Very simple. I manage your career, handle all business deals, and we split everything 70-30. Frank's heart sank. 70-30, sir? Yes, 70 for me, 30 for you. But don't worry, that 30% will still make you rich. And besides, where were you when I found you? In the village. I brought you to Lagos. I gave you shelter. I fed you. I trained you. Trained me, sir. The words came out before Frank could stop them. Uncle Emmanuel's eyes hardened. What did you say? Frank stood up. Something had shifted inside him. Maybe it was watching his story resonate with millions of people. Maybe it was the small test of success he had experienced. Maybe it was just that he had nothing left to lose. Uncle, with all due respect, you didn't train me. You brought me here to be a slave, a houseboy. For 18 months, I have been waking up at 4 a.m., working until 3 a.m., being insulted, being slapped, being treated worse than dogs in your compound. I built myself, uncle, me alone. While your wife called me useless, I was creating something. While she said I was a fool, I was learning. While she said I would amount to nothing, I was becoming somebody. The silence in the room was thick enough to cut with a knife. Are you done? Uncle Emmanuel asked coldly. No, sir, I am not done. I won't sign that contract. I am leaving this house tonight. Uncle Emmanuel laughed. It was a bitter, dangerous laugh. Leave and go where? You have nothing, Frank. Nothing. I can destroy you with one phone call. I can make sure nobody in this industry works with you. You think you're somebody because of small Instagram followers? You're still that village boy I picked from the dust. Don't forget that. But Frank was already walking towards the door. If you leave this house tonight, Uncle Emmanuel called after him, don't ever come back. And forget about university. Forget about everything. You are on your own. Frank turned at the door. Uncle, I have been on my own since the day I arrived in this house. The only difference now is that I know it. He walked out. My people, let me tell you, courage is one thing, stupidity is another thing, and sometimes it's hard to tell them apart. Frank packed his few belongings. In a small Ghana must-go bag, he had 47,000 naira in his account, money from YouTube ads. He had his phone, he had his charger, and that was all. As he walked through the gate of Uncle Emmanuel's compound, for the last time, he didn't feel victorious. He felt terrified. Where would he sleep? What would he eat? What would he tell his parents? He found a small hotel in Aja, 3,000 naira per night. He could afford 2 weeks maximum. After that, he didn't know. That night, he called his mother. Mama, Frank, my son, how are you? How is school? And Frank broke down. He told her everything. The 4 a.m. wake-ups, the insults, the slaps, the lies Uncle Emmanuel had been telling them. His mother cried. His father cried. They said they would beg Uncle Emmanuel to take him back. No, Mama, Frank said firmly. I am not going back. Never. I will make it on my own, I promise. But how, my son? How? I don't know, Mama, but I will figure it out. For the next 3 months, Frank hustled like never before. He posted content every single day, sometimes twice a day, 3 times a day. He collaborated with other content creators. He responded to every comment, every message. His followers grew. 500,000 became 1 million. 1 million became 2 million. Brands started reaching out. Small brands at first. A food company wanted him to promote their noodles. 15,000 naira. He took it. A clothing store wanted him to model their shirts. 20,000 naira. He took it. But it wasn't enough. After 3 months, his money was running out. He moved to a cheaper place, then an even cheaper place, until he was sleeping in a single room in Mushin, sharing a toilet with 12 other people. Sometimes late at night, he wondered if he had made a mistake, if he should have just signed Uncle Emmanuel's contract, if pride was worth all this suffering. But then, he would remember Auntie Ngozi's slap, until Emmanuel's lies, the feeling of being treated as less than human, and he would keep going. Then came the breakthrough he didn't see coming. It was a random Wednesday in October. Frank had just posted a video about landlords in Lagos, how they can collect rent for 2 years in advance and still tell you to leave after 6 months. This video went viral. Not just regular viral, super viral. 10 million views in 24 hours. Frank's phone started blowing up. But these weren't regular messages. They were messages from real brands, big brands. MTV Base Africa wanted to interview him. A major telecommunications company wanted him for a campaign. 500,000 naira. A popular energy drink wanted him as a brand ambassador. 2 million naira for 6 months. Frank sat in his small room in Mushin, staring at his phone, tears rolling down his face. Was this real? Or was he dreaming? Within 2 weeks, everything changed. Frank got a proper management team, people who took 15%, not 70%. He moved into a decent apartment. He bought a generator so he wouldn't have to edit videos by candlelight, and the content kept coming. See, Frank had something that many people didn't have. He had stories, real stories, stories of pain, of struggle, of survival, and people connected with that authenticity. 6 months later, Frank was doing a show in a hotel. The tickets sold out in 2 hours. As he stood backstage waiting to go on, he saw someone in the VIP section that made his heart skip. Uncle Emmanuel and Auntie Ngozi. They had come to his show. After the performance, which was a massive success, Uncle Emmanuel came backstage. Frank, my boy. He spread his arms wide. That big smile on his face. You see, I knew you had it in you. I always believed in you. Frank just looked at him. He didn't shout. He didn't curse. He just smiled. Thank you for coming, Uncle. I hope you enjoyed the show. Enjoyed? It was fantastic. Look, Frank, I know we had some misunderstanding in the past, but family is family. We should work together. I have new ideas, new connections. Uncle, Frank interrupted gently. I appreciate you coming, really. But I am good. I have a team. I have a plan. And most importantly, I have my dignity. For the first time, Frank saw something in Uncle Emmanuel's eyes that he had never seen before. Respect, maybe even a little bit of shame. Auntie Ngozi stood behind her husband, unusually quiet. She couldn't even look Frank in the eye. They left without saying much else. 2 years had passed since Frank left Uncle Emmanuel's house. 2 years of grinding, hustling, believing when it didn't make sense to believe. Now Frank had his own office in Victoria Island. He had a team of 5 people. He had just signed a deal with a major streaming platform for his own comedy series. He was making the kind of money that would make even Uncle Emmanuel raise his eyebrows. But more than the money, Frank had respect, real respect. People knew his story because he had shared it honestly without bitterness, just as facts, as his stories inspired thousands of young people who were going through similar situations. One December morning, Frank drove home to Abia State. He was going home for Christmas for the first time in 3 years. When his car, a brand new Toyota Camry, nothing too flashy, pulled into his father's compound, the whole village came out. His parents held him and cried. His siblings couldn't believe it was their brother. Papa, Frank said, pressing an envelope into his father's hand. This is to build a new house, a proper house. Mama will not sell oranges by the roadside anymore. And Papa, you will pack that Okada. I've opened the shop for you, a big one. His father couldn't even speak. He just held Frank and wept. That evening, as they sat together as a family, Frank's youngest sister asked, Brother Frank, what would you have done if your videos didn't blow up? If you didn't become successful? Frank thought about it. You know what, Chidinma? I would have kept trying, because that's the thing about dreams. They don't die because of hard times. They only die when you stop believing in them. His mother smiled. "My son, so what happened to your Uncle Emmanuel?" "Mama," Frank replied, "Uncle Emmanuel taught me the most important lesson of my life. He taught me that sometimes the people who are supposed to lift you up will try to push you down. And when that happens, you have two choices. You can stay down, or you can use that push as a momentum to jump higher than you ever thought possible." My people, as I finish this story, I want you to understand something. Frank's story is not just about a boy who became a content creator. It's about every person who has ever been underestimated, abused, used, and thrown aside like trash. It's about a house girl who is treated like a slave but dreams of owning her own business. It's about a gateman who is mocked but is studying at night to become something greater. It's about every young person who has been told they are nothing, they will amount to nothing, they are useless. Frank could have stayed in that house, signing that wicked contract, letting Uncle Emmanuel take 70% of his life. He could have accepted that being a slave was his destiny, but he didn't. And that's the point. Your situation today is not your destination tomorrow. The pit you are in is not your grave, it's your training ground. Uncle Emmanuel thought he was destroying Frank. He didn't know he was creating a warrior. Auntie Ngozi thought she was teaching Frank his place. He didn't know she was teaching him resilience. So, when you find yourself in a place where people treat you as less than you are, remember Frank. Remember that your gift will make room for you. Remember that what is inside you is more powerful than what is against you. And most importantly, remember that it could happen to you. Not the suffering, the breakthrough, the success, the victory. But you must be willing to walk away from what is killing you, even when you don't know where you are walking to. You must be willing to bet on yourself when nobody else will. You must be willing to walk in the midnight hours when everyone else is sleeping. Because that's where miracles are born. In the darkest nights, in the loneliest moments, in the times when you have nothing but your dream and your determination. Frank Okafor started in Uncle Emmanuel's kitchen, recording videos while stirring rice, tears mixing with sweat. He ended up on billboards across Lagos. And if it could happen to him, my brother, my sister, it could happen to you.